Today on the podcast, we are talking about the most expensive school, not in the United States, but in the entire world. The most expensive school in the entire world. Frame My Neat Podcast starts right about now. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Frame My Neat Podcast. It's your boy, C. Valley Bayou Jr., a.k.a. TK, along with my man Omar Williams. We call him O, and Denise Obi, we call her D Nice. Y'all say what's up to the peeps.
What's up, good people? How y'all doing?
Hello.
Another lovely Wednesday morning, and y'all know how we do. We jump right in and get things started. But before we do, it is Affirmation Wednesday, and y'all know how we do. We get our affirmations started, get them in and out the way so that we can get our day started. It is the middle of the week, but you know what? It's all good. Doesn't matter. Wednesday's a good day. It's Affirmation Wednesday. So if you got it written down, memorize or whatever you got, let's get this going so we can get this day started. Are you ready? Today will be a good day. Today will be a great day. Today will be an awesome day. Today will be an amazing day. Today will be a phenomenal day. Today will be stress-free. Today will be a stressless day. Today, I will overcome all barriers that want to block my progress. Today, all circumstances will work in my favor. Today, all things will line up for my good. Today, I'll become better than who I was yesterday. I am a go-getter. I am victorious. I am triumphant. I am an overcomer. I never lose. I either win or I learn. I take authority over this day. I will dominate this day. I will conquer this day. And everything I have spoken into this day will happen as I have affirmed, because I am more than a conqueror. Let's get it started. So, we are talking today about the most expensive school in the entire world. Not in the US, not in the UK, not in Africa. No, the entire 7 continents, including water. Okay? So the school we're talking about, it's in Switzerland. It is called Institut La Rosa. Institut La Rosa. And I'm going to just read real quickly, just give you an overview of what we're talking about today, because I think this is kind of important. Well, it's not kind of, it is important to read kind of what it talks about as far as the school goes. To give you a quick idea, I actually saw a post on Instagram. Someone was talking about this school, giving like a quick overview of the school. And it just kind of caught my eye. And I'm like, wow, this is kind of interesting that they're talking about this school and what it looks like. So I started looking into it. I said, this might be something we need to talk about, because this here looks like it's going to be pretty juicy, I think. But it's a very, very prestigious school in Switzerland. Just to give you an overview of it, so it was founded in 1880 is when the school was founded, during the 14th century. And basically, the main campus is located in Rollet. I believe I'm saying that correctly. Rollet, which it's halfway between Geneva and Lausanne. Hope I'm saying that correctly as well. Lausanne in Switzerland. The tuition at this school, it actually almost costs more than a Harvard education. It's over $130,000 to go to this school. All right. There are about 400 students between the ages of 8 and 19 years old that go to this school. They come from about 67 different countries. And it's almost literally a even perfect split between genders that go to the school. There are about 20 students per class, which is pretty much the perfect classroom, thus the most expensive school in the world, right? And then there are about 150 staff members that create a 5-to-1 staff to student ratio, which is pretty good as well. Well, not pretty good. It's actually excellent, to be honest. And then the library that they have in the school consists of pretty much all their books being in about 20 different languages. Go figure. So that's kind of like an overview of just like the school itself. You know, most times you talk about a school, it's like, okay, where's it located? What's education like? If it's a public school, it's likely free. If it's a private school, it's going to cost some money. And, you know, depending if it's, you know, private, whether it's a Christian school, it could be a private school that has a different curriculum. It could be a boarding school, things of that nature. And this school here is a boarding school. They do live there as well. We'll get into that as well as we talk. But just real quick, any first thoughts from either O or Denise when we first, you know, kind of said we were going to have a talk about this when it came to finding out kind of like what this school was like and what it was all about?
I think it's. I
I'll
think that's
go.
good.
Oh, you go. You got
Sometimes
it.
I think it's good. Like sometimes, if I know the education, my kids are getting a great education. If they're eating well, they're being taken care of, then I don't see the problem. I mean, the price range, when I ask, hey, do you have any scholarships, any government funding, any grants, loans, anything I can do? But if parents always want the best for their kids if they can afford it. Even then, they still want the best for their kids. So I think it's a great idea. I'm not against it. Hopefully, I can send my kids there. If not, we'll visit.
She's got high hopes, people. High hopes. And listen,
All right.
ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. She don't have any yet. So she's setting the bar high. Look at, she's setting those expectations. We talked about a little while ago. Expectations, setting them high. Oh, what you got?
Yeah, no, my first reaction to when I saw it was how long it's been around. Anything over 100 years old has to be successful because food products don't even last that long. I mean, we grew up on stuff that don't exist no more, right?
Exactly.
So, for anything over 100 years old, it has to be very successful. And for the types of people, like when you look into, I know we'll talk about more of it, but the types of people who go here, the bloodlines who go here, they're not just sending their kid anywhere. So my first reaction was, this place must be like, they might want to write a book, but they won't give up the secrets to the masses. So
that's for sure.
Let us know how to do it, man. Yeah.
Right. And speaking of it being around for over 100 years, so the school was founded in 1880. The school was 100 years old before I was born. I'm just saying. I was born in 81, not 1881. I was born in 1981. Okay, just saying. I'm just saying that's a long. It almost is like it's a a staple of Switzerland. You know what I mean? So let's move along a little bit. Talk about a little more things with the school. So let's talk about how the day is for a student who attends Institut Le Rosey. Okay, so the day starts around 7 a.m. You wake up, you get up in the morning, and then you have an informal buffet-style breakfast and check-in, and that happens. Then the school day starts around 8 a.m., and it ends, well, doesn't end, it goes from about 8 a.m. to about 12, 12:30, something like that. And there's a break around that time. And during this break, they get served hot chocolate during this break, okay? It's not necessarily a lunchtime. It's more of a break. Now, that break could be 30 minutes to an hour, depending on how long it goes. But they get served hot chocolate. And the hot chocolate is meant to kind of keep them going throughout the day so their stomachs aren't too heavy, but their brains aren't too, out there or are too tired to move on to the next part of the day. Okay. So after this break time, the second half of the day starts. And the second half of the day will go from about maybe 1:30 to about 3:30, 4 o'clock. And that's kind of the academic day of the typical student at Institute La Rosa. Then between the hours of 4 and like 7 p.m., it's sports and arts time. So during this time, you can participate in a sport, or you can participate in performing arts. So looking at the research I did, they have over 60% of their students either play an instrument, sing, or do both.
Wow.
60%, over 60%. There are over 25 different sports that they can participate in, including, but not limited to, rugby, football/soccer, not NFL football, soccer, okay? Soccer, track and field, basketball, volleyball, tennis, fitness rooms, weightlifting, stuff like that, fitness. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, even skiing. And you wonder why. This place is actually located near the mountains.
Swiss Alps.
Where you can go skiing. That's a sport you can participate in. Skiing. That's just a few. That's not all 25 plus that they have there. So just think about your average boarding school and what other sports they have there. You can just add these to that list and kind of go from there. Okay. On top of that, they offer horseback riding lessons to the students that they can use as an elective to their credits as students. And they have about 20 different breeds of horses on campus that they can ride. I'm also going to include this. They also have sailboat, rowboat, motorboat, water skiing available for the students. And to top it all off, this is the one I like the most, actually. To top it all off, you must take a spa day at least once a week for rejuvenation, relaxation, and educational purposes. I'm going to let that sink in for a moment.
So
you must take a spa day, and it's located on campus, and it's geared towards the students.
Wow.
What are your thoughts?
I'll say this, man. When you have resources and means and the finances to do these things, man, I feel like they've studied and figured out, like just down to that hot chocolate. It's probably some science behind it of if we give them a hot chocolate during noon, they'll be able to last till whatever time. You know what I mean? And then like at that, what was it, 4 to 7?
4 to 7-ish, yeah.
Sports or performing arts, they probably said we get the most out of the kids at this time. Like I don't think they just picking this stuff for no reason. I think it's been some research done, years of like, okay, how can we maximize the best out of these students? And again, like you said, they're getting paid over $130,000 a year per student. So they're getting plenty money to figure all this stuff out. You know what I mean? So
pretty much.
Yep.
That's just strategic planning right there. But I mean, at least the parents know, hey, I'm paying $33,000 a year, and I know I can buy a house with that. But my kid is being fed proper food and not something that God knows what that could be. From especially when I went to high school, and they have activities, so keeping them occupied and busy and not on video games. And I think it's even smart with taking a break and giving them a spa day because kids need it too. School's not always easy. Trust me, school's not always easy.
No,
and have that break and break it up their time. I think they were strategic, and whoever had that plan and knew what they were doing, they deserve a raise. They're convincing me
Hmm.
to send my future kids there.
So speaking of being fed, let's talk about dinner. Okay, let's talk about dinner. So after the sports and the arts are finished at 7:30 sharp, 7:30 sharp, not 7:31, not 7:29, 7:30 sharp is dinner time, and the meals are prepared by in-house chefs that give top-notch meals day in and day out for these students to eat on. Day in day, they have like a rotation that goes in and out, so everyone gets fed within that time frame, with 7:30 to 8 o'clock, at whatever time that the time ends. But 7:30 p.m. sharp, that's when dinner starts. That first rotation comes in sharp. Now there are more details behind this stuff we're not going to tell you guys today because it's too much information. But I think the overview he's giving you now, you can see that this is a pretty prestigious school that students can go to. Again, ages 8 to 19 can go to this school. And then after that, there's certain times where after the dinner, there may be a concert that goes on or possibly a lecture or something like that. But more times than not, they encourage the students to go back to their dorm rooms and just kind of relax and just kind of call it a night to prepare for the following school day. Now, the concerts they have, they're more geared around orchestra concerts. You're not having, like Taylor Swift's not coming in, to a concert and like that. I'm just saying, it's not that. It's more of an orchestra, Bach, Beethoven kind of thing that goes on. In the lecture, it could be on anything, but it's more of an intellectual thing than not when they're doing this. So, and that's a typical day in the life of a student at Institut Les Rosey. So, take a break real quick. We're going to come back. When we come back, we're going to talk about education from the standpoint of Institut Les Rosey and others that are in Switzerland and other schools, of course, in the U.S. and other places, how school is done as opposed to how they're doing it. And I know it's just going to be a big discrepancy because we're talking about how much money you're paying to go. But there are other forms and ways of education that can be done that don't cost $130,000 a year from a that's not going to college standpoint. We're going to talk about when we come back. Frame My Name Podcast, right back. Are you looking for an apparel company that's positive, uplifting, and truly cares about you? Then look no further. Frame of Mind Inc., an apparel brand company, impresses on individuals to think positive thoughts, say positive things, and do positive deeds. Get positive apparel such as t-shirts, hoodies, and wristbands for children, teens, and adults in various colors and sizes. Customized services include logo and t-shirt design, screen printing for individuals, families, schools, profit, and nonprofit organizations. You can reach Frame of Mind Inc. at 302-689-3499 or visit their website at www.frameofmindinc.com. Frame of Mind Inc. Think it, speak it, achieve it.
It's a frame of mind.
All right, everybody, we are back. And we're talking about Institut Les Rosey, which is in Switzerland, Rolais, Switzerland, to be exact, between Geneva and Lausanne, where the tuition there is about or over $130,000 a year. Ages 8 to 19 can attend this school. It's about 20 students per classroom, which is almost a perfect classroom, if you ask me. It's about 150 staff members to 400 students, but about a ratio of about a 5-to-1 staff-student ratio. And they have an extensive library that consists of pretty much a majority of their books being in about 20 different languages. And of course, we'll have the link in the information for the podcast. You want to go check this information out for yourself and get some more detail behind this. There's a lot of details that go into this, but we're not giving you guys all those details tonight or this podcast because it's going to be it's a lot. It's just too much to give you. But what we want to do now is kind of talk about how education is done here and other private or boarding schools, as well as public schools as well, and just kind of see what the differences are, but then also see, hey, what could we possibly do to either learn from Institute La Rose or other schools to implement what we can do to get the best out of our students and our children and our schools. And I'll start with this, and I'll pose this question, or not a question, I'll start with this statement. I'll say this is that, me personally, I strongly believe that, and I'll say our public schools because those are the majority of our schools, are public schools, is that I feel that we should be gearing student education more towards their strengths, meaning, hey, what do you like to do? Or what is it that you find interesting? And kind of gear our education in that form of fashion. Yes, still teach math and science and history, social studies, reading, all that stuff. Yes. But then also, okay, how is it that this student can learn best? It may not be individualized because that could become too much. But if our classrooms are set up in a way that's more engaging and more how do I want to say this? Fun. I'll say that. Students may want to learn or have a zeal to want to learn as opposed to being tested all the time and tested all the time and tested all the time and tested all the time. That's all I'm saying. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I'll let Ogo.
Let me go. Okay. Yeah, I just think the whole school system as a whole should be rethought. Like even down to little things. Like you said, they do testing all the time, and it's like, you test for what? Like ultimately, what's the purpose? Like, is it to just show how good the school is teaching the kids, or is it like you guys may know the school system better than I do? So is it like a quota, or it's like they got to show how good they're teaching? You know what I mean? Like, do the kids know the information? But like, I just think ultimately it has to be rethought again. Like something as simple. I went from you know about block scheduling?
Yeah.
So that was something really different that came when I was in school. But prior to that, it was like 9 classes where you had all the subjects at one time, and I was the worst student in that type of school. I wasn't a dumb kid, just couldn't do it all at the same time. We went to block scheduling. I went from a C- guy to a B+ B- guy. Just with a simple switch like that. So how many more kids could we save, or even get more engaged if we just thought of different ways to just do it a little bit different? I don't know. Yeah.
So I agree, and even I remember like preparing for the SATs in high school, and literally, I remember this girl telling me, literally, like the SATs, it's just preparing you how to take a test. It's not like, there's stuff that they teach you about college, but if you look at it, school is designed to make the school look better. The results, if the school's not performing, that's how my high school was. If our high school wasn't performing well, we'd have issues with the district and funding and finances and everything you could think of. And that's why they pushed like block scheduling, pushed so many like test exams, we even went to, at one point we went to having a longer school day. So instead of getting out at 2:30, we got out at 3:15. We had a lot of athletes in especially our senior class. So half the time we were leaving school at 2:30 because we had to go to practice, go warm up for a game, catch the bus to go play a game. So there were so many things implemented that it was just like, what are we doing? And there was no proper structure in the school system. And you can still see that nowadays, especially in the U.S., that the system is not what it can be. I would say, not what it can be, and it's just harder for students because every not only is it hard on teachers, but it's hard on students. Not every student learns the same way. Not every student can take a test well. Some students they do better with one-on-one help. Teachers don't have that help to sit there with Jimmy and Susie and do one-on-one. And I think like if we could invest more in the kids, we'd have better students. But that comes with a price of looking at the school system.
Yeah. Now, mind you, like, me personally and us here, we're not knocking public schools. We're not doing that. But we do want to just look and see that because there is, and you hit on it. You said that we need to rethink our education system, how we're going about doing it. And I saw this a few times in different areas, whether it was social media or in an article where it said, our school system started one way and over the course of time has never changed, but everything else has. And so our school systems are still teaching in a manner that worked centuries ago, or even, decades or centuries ago. And it's not necessarily changed with how the times have changed. Now, it's not something that has to be dramatic, but if we're looking at how classrooms looked centuries ago, and then look at classrooms now, not a whole lot has changed with the exception of adding technology. And that's just my take on it. Again, you can't curb the education system to meet every individual need unless you have a school like Institut Le Rosey that has 20 students per class, and you can do that because now you have the education curriculum, you have the technology, like everything is state of the art because you have a school that's charging $130,000 per year per child, and that's just levels to education. So those who can afford that, they're going to do that. But again, I believe there's things we can do in our public schools and other schools that may not charge, of course, that much per year. Things we can implement to help our children out as they go toward their future. And then Denise, you touched on the fact that, it seems as though the education system is more about how good the teachers are teaching as opposed to how good the students are learning.
That's a good point.
And I think that that's something we need to look at too, because you can teach all day long, but the question is if what and how you're teaching is not resonating with that student, you're going to get the same results. And testing over and over and over and over again from, is not going to change that. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to make it worse, but I think overall, we need to rethink it and then also say, hey, are we making the changes that we need in our schools for our teachers, or are they being done for our students? And I think that's something we need to look at as well. Now, I know the conversation kind of went a little sideways, but I think overall, you can look at Institut Le Rosey, take some things out of it and say, hey, what can we take from there and put into our public schools and make that work for our students who may be testing low or who may be not understanding, how math works the way we're teaching it, or how, reading and writing comprehension works the way we're teaching it. Because as far as I'm concerned, there are curriculums that come along and they change it, every so often, every few years, because, okay, let's try this. Oh, let's try this. Oh, let's see what they're doing over here. Let's go try that. It's like, well, understand that those schools or those countries have been doing that forever. Like, that's not what we're doing here, but what can we do that works here for us in the United States, America, or abroad in general? So I kind of just want to put that out there to you guys. Again, not knocking the public school system or any other school system, private, boarding school, anything like that, Christian, Catholic, any of that, not knocking any of that. Just food for thought. That's what we do here, Paramount Inc. We challenge your thoughts and your perspective on things, and that's a bit of a challenge for us, particularly here in America, our education system. So, but big props and ups to our teachers who come to work every day and teach our children and students, because my own personal thoughts. My wife is a teacher as well, and even if she wasn't, I would still think this. I feel that teachers, in my own opinion and strong opinion, don't get paid enough. Just saying. It's my opinion. It's a strong one, but I know they get summer off and they get Christmas off and they get Thanksgiving and they get spring break. There's a whole lot that goes into being a teacher, whether it's kindergarten, elementary, middle school, high school, a whole lot that goes into it. I'm gonna stop right there because I don't want to keep babbling on about that. But we wanted to give you guys just some knowledge today on this illustrious school, what they're doing. Of course, we're not going to have buffet style breakfasts in our public schools. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that because that's not kind of what we do. Especially, and then you have certain areas that have that are a little more impoverished than others. You have free lunch, and there's only but so much you can do when you have that. We're not going to serve dinner because we're not boarding schools. But I think that from a food standpoint, I think we can do better when it comes to food. I think there's some out there that do better, and there's those that are doing the best they can, what they have, and we applaud them for that. And then there may be those out there that just kind of like, hey, it is what it is, and take what we can give you. But I think we can all do better in that area. And then on top of that, with the whole, spa thing, not going to happen. All right, that's just not. We're not even going to even try that one. Okay, not going to happen. All right, the hot chocolate thing, that might be an idea. That might be an idea. You might want to look into that hot chocolate thing. All right, because listen, from what I've seen in schools, that second half of the day, that's a long stretch. That's a long stretch after having that first half of the day, and not everyone eats at the same time. If you have an elementary school, you've got 6 grades. They all eat different times. They have recess at different times. If you're in a middle school, well, there's no recess, but you've got 3 different grades that have to eat. High school, so it's all a puzzle piece. But you know what? It's all good because we love our educators from top to bottom, from our district workers to our teachers and janitors and everybody. We love them all. So anything you guys want to leave everybody with before we go? I know we kind of went a little left field, but I think Institute Later will say kind of just allowed us to let people know what's out there, and to know how some people who, and I have not seen where there's grants or merits that they give out. I mean, I haven't seen that. So feel free to research that if you guys want to look deeper into this. But I haven't seen where they're giving out scholarships to people. Like the parents are paying out of their pocket for this school.
Get your mind right. Get your mind right. It's a frame of mind.
What do you guys have to leave with everybody?
I'll say I'll finish with this. It just sounds like our schools here. The biggest thing that I'm seeing the difference is just resources, man. They have the resources, the influence. We didn't talk about the types of people that go there, but like they just got the resources to do what they do. And like you said, man, we got to pay our teachers more, but it's like the way it's set up, it's off taxpayer money. If the area, is low income, not many jobs, low taxes, and it's one big trickle down, right? Like if the teachers, if the taxes are low, teachers can't get paid as much. Taxes are higher, teachers get paid more. So it's just resources, man. We got to get more resources in our school. And I'm not sure how, again, that's not my expertise, but however we got to do it, we need more resources in these schools, especially the lower income ones.
Let's say actually, I was gonna add. I think all grades should have recess from kindergarten to high school. 'Cause if you think about it, even in high school, like just sometimes you kind of need some recess, and it doesn't necessarily mean go outside and play, but just go out or just be away from your class for a minute. And I think that would help solve a lot of problems and not have a lot of fights. But also, I agree that resources is the key, and resources is what some have, some don't, some use it in the wrong way, some use it in the right way, and it's just resources. And I think America needs to change its school system. So we'll see.
Yes, we can. No, let me stop. Let me stop. But no, getting back to O's point, he said we didn't talk about the types of people that go to Institute Larry will say, but I'll reiterate too, 67 different countries. So just keep that in mind. So it's diverse. We didn't say how diverse, but it is diverse by country and by language. And so one last nugget, they are encouraged to learn at least 4 different languages. They're encouraged to learn at least 4 different languages. I'm just saying. So, follow us at the podcast. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Have a great rest of your day. Wherever you are listening, you can always catch the podcast. Our website, audio-wise, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, or wherever podcasts are played, and the replay video-wise on our Facebook page at FFM Podcast, our Instagram page at FFM Podcast. You can follow us there. YouTube page, LinkedIn, it would be my page on LinkedIn actually, and catch the video portions there. We're always there, twice a month. Catch us up. We got stuff to talk about. You should listen. I'm just saying. So continue to think it, speak it, and achieve it. Until next time, we holla. Thank you for joining the Frame of Mind Inc. podcast. And as always, here at Frame of Mind Inc., think positive thoughts, say positive things, and do positive deeds. As our tagline says, think it, speak it, achieve it. See you next time.
It's a frame of mind. It's what you say and what you do.
Don't forget to check us out on the web at www.frameofmindinc.com, where you can browse our online apparel store, listen to some of our original music and production services, as well as view our videos and projects we've done for our clients and customers.